Yo, what's up, y'all? I'm super excited and super stoked to bring y'all a brand new figure review from the Black Series. I'm going to be taking a look at the Glavis Ringworld version of the Mandalorian from the Book of Boba Fett series. And this one compared to the older 2021 or I forget when the other Mandalorian came out. I think it was like 2020 or something like that. That Mandalorian is good. Limited articulation and the paint it's a good figure, don't get me wrong, but this one here just blows it absolutely out the water as far as proportions go. It's got an updated holster. I'll get to all this, give y'all a closer look when I look at details and articulation, but it's got better paint, a new holster, better proportions with the armor and like limbs and the body itself. It also comes with soft goods cape. Like I said, better paint. It's got like more of a chrome shiny look to it. Brand new sculpted blaster pistol. Brand new vibra knife. And he comes with the dark saber. That's also a brand new sculpt. At least the handle is, because this one compared to the pre-Vizsla dark saber, this hilt is a good bit longer. And the jetpack also looks really good. And there's some new tooling on this figure. There's some bits on the arms that are different. There's some bits on the legs that are different. And this whole bandolier piece is actually totally different. The helmet is new, I believe. Pretty positive that helmet is new. It just looks... When I show y'all side by side, I got two of these, so I already have one open. I'm going to keep this one in the box. But when I put them side by side, it's pretty apparent which one is the new one. It is leagues ahead of the old one. I also forgot to mention it does have O-ring shoulder pads. I'll give this box a little spin so y'all can check it out. And like I said before, I really dig this kind of like faded olive drab color for the Book of Boba Fett line. That's a really nice artwork of Din right there holding the darksaber. And the accents of blue on his new armor just looks really nice. And it's got this figure has some slightly better articulation than the old figure. New tooling, better paint, like I said, more accessories, soft goods cape, just a really badass figure, and I am super excited to have it, and I'm looking forward to giving y'all this review and giving y'all my opinion on it. Maybe this will sway whether you get it or not. And like I've seen a lot of people posting about, I think a lot of the bigger toy stores like Big Bad Entertainment, Earth, and even Amazon have started getting their shipments for these. Because I've seen a bunch of people in the Black Series page forums and stuff like that on Facebook and like on Reddit threads. A lot of people are posting that they've finally gotten their Glavis Ringworld Mando. So I think everybody's finally getting theirs that they ordered. If you didn't get a pre-order, you just seen it come on stock like me on Amazon for $25, and I absolutely jumped on it. And I've seen it fluctuate back and forth, going up from $25 to $40. 3 days later, it's back down to 25, and the next day it's back up to 40. Just all over the place, man. Very, very wild. But I'm gonna take this off the turntable and let y'all take a look at the loose. And here he is, the new Din Djarin, the new Mandalorian from Glavis Ringworld. And now a lot of people have been saying when they first got this figure a couple months back, when people were kind of getting them early or getting them from the CMD store or from places from Canada or United Kingdom basically across the pond or other countries, you pay a little more for them, but you get them a lot sooner. Because typically them across the seas, they tend to get them a little earlier. Kind of depends on the figure, but this figure just looks absolutely fantastic, man. Absolutely fantastic. I love the darksaber, real nice white pop on it. It goes along that black very nicely. And I just love this new paint. It looks a lot more chromy and shiny than the older figure. And when I give you all a closer look and put them side by side, this one actually has slightly better articulation. There's new tooling on the arms, new tooling on the legs. The helmet is brand new. Like I said in the beginning of the review, this one is definitely an upgraded version. O-ring shoulder pads, it's really fun to mess with. And when I first opened it, I put them in like 10, 15 different poses. Just really addicting figure. I love the soft goods. And you can actually, I'll show y'all in a second, but you can actually put his jetpack on and drape his cape over to the side like he actually does in the show. And with the old one, it had that hard plastic cape, and like I said, I'll show y'all in a few minutes. And it's impossible to put the jetpack on there and have the cape, and then made over that his cape, it just looks off. Not once in the show ever do you ever see Mando without his cape. At least when he's wearing his Mandalorian armor. If he's wearing his Beskar armor, you best believe he's got his cape on. And I do like this kind of tattered, weathered look at the bottom. It looks real nice and worn. The new blue accent pieces, brand new holster. Actually, a totally new blaster mold as well. This mold for his blaster pistol is a little bit bigger than the other one, and the wood grip actually has some nice sculpting on it as well. But I'll give y'all a closer look at that, and well, I guess I'll do that now. So let me get him off the turntable, and I'll put them side by side so y'all can check them out. And so here they are side by side, and it's apparent which one is the new one. And I'm just extremely pleased with this figure. And this is definitely worth the upgrade. And I'll give y'all a closer look at all the details when I look at articulation. But now the new one, he doesn't come with a cycler rifle, which is kind of a bummer. But at the same time, it's not a big deal because he does come with a dark saber, the new blaster, and the soft goods cape. So overall, just way more of an upgrade. Okay, so before I go over to side by side, well, a closer look at the side by side, I'm gonna give y'all a look at the articulation. So right at the elbows, we can get under 90 degrees. Very nice. Here's those O-ring shoulder pads that I'm a huge fan of. Arms do spin 360 degrees. Gets a little hairy with the shoulder pads, but it is doable. We have a vertical hinge on the right hand trigger finger. Also, we have a horizontal hinge on the left hand. Also a trigger finger. And now with these, the older Mandalorian couldn't even do this because these shoulder pads were glued to the arm. Whereas with this O-ring system, it allows for a lot more play and doesn't inhibit the articulation near as much. So you can get a nice T position out of him. I would suggest not posing him that way for a long time because otherwise these pads that plastic is just going to get used to staying like that. So over time it'll probably start to stick. You know, you don't want that. It'll look wonky when you take him out of that pose. And there's the new blaster and new holster, and it is super snug. Give y'all a look at the blaster real quick. So brand new mold, and I'll give y'all a closer look as well. This one compared to the old one. I'll slide that back in there for now. I really like this holster. I love this kind of textured look that kind of emulates leather. And we do still have the same holes in the back where you can plug in the jetpack and the cycle rifle, although this one doesn't come with the cycle rifle, so that tells us that this adamant body is the same. That's reuse, which is no big deal. But this whole bandolier and belt piece is completely new. Got some extra doodads, I guess like little grenades or extra tools, extra pouches here. Right up along there. Maybe could have used a little bit of paint on there, but I'm not, that's just me nitpicking. Got some nice sculpting. Got some elbow swivel here. And butters. Forgot to mention the butters. Gotta love some butters. Nice deep cut elbows right there. Now for splits. Now with this overlay, this is kind of like an overlay, so it's I don't know if this is similar to the Death Watch Mando or not, but it allows it to move, and so you can get a pretty nice split and see how they kind of butt up against it, but it doesn't inhibit it too much, so get a pretty decent little split. Get right at 90 degrees for the knees. I also have knee swivel as well. And here is his vibro knife, which slides right into his boot here. Got a boot knife. And here's the vibro knife. Unfortunately, he can't hold it. It's a little too small, and it's extremely loose, and it'll fall out. Like, it's just, if you positioned his hand right, where he was kind of like cradling it, you probably could, but I don't want to lose it. So for me personally, I'm going to keep his boot knife right in his boot. And it's pretty snug too. Like, it's not going anywhere, dude. It's very, very, very nice engineering and design on this figure. Got some nice sculpting on the legs here. These legs, or at least these pieces, are new too. Because this piece, his thigh plates look a little bit larger than the older figure. And so can get to about that far down. And we can go that far up. So not really a whole lot of ankle articulation, but no biggie. We do have thigh swivel here. I'm a fan of thigh swivel myself. Nice sculpting here. Got the whistling birds here on his gauntlet. Very nice. Soft goods cape, very nice as well. Got some nice kind of like tattered, worn, weathered look going. Really love these soft goods, man. That blue, I like this shade of blue on his knee pad and this extra armor. A little bit of sloppy paint here on the side that I'm looking at. A little bit of silver mist right there. But other than that, that's the first time I've spotted it over this whole figure. And with him posing, you can't even tell. Got some, the paint is clean on here though, so that's nice. Nice paint apps right there too. Nice silver going. I really dig this paint that they use for his armor. It's got a real nice chromy look to it. And like the helmet itself, just so much better proportioned. Very nice sculpt, man. Got a nice kind of like glossy black on the visor there. Looks very nice. So now here is the old Mando, and just give him kind of like a little side by side and a little turn in the light. You can see how the new Mando, the new Dinjarin, he's got a little more of a chrome, a little more of a sheen on this Beskar, and that's how his armor looks in the show. Now you can see the shoulder pads are also a little bit bigger, but the Mudhorn insignia is there. You can see his pouch, his bandolier is a different color. Got a little more of a dark brown for his holster and the bandolier this time around. And it's a new sculpt, as you can see. See, they've got the pouches and stuff here. No pouch on this one. But there are some similarities. So that's, for the most part, it is the same, but there is some differences. Let's look at the back. Give you some side by side. The new one just looks more detailed. Like, look at that. The one on the right just looks like a lot more neat. And then here's that hard plastic cape, which really, to be honest, just sucks. It is kind of ass, to be honest. And here, if you can see, his thigh plates are a little bit bigger this time around. This one's actually different. This one's a lot smaller on the old one. And he does have, I forget what these are. I looked it up a while back, but he's got more different sculpt on the legs. Slightly similar, but different. And you can tell that this is a new sculpt because the folds are different on this compared to this. They don't even match up. Got some similarities, like I said, the pouch, some of the armor plates, but the little bit new tooling, man, new tooling. And this is one thing that I really was excited to see, because I'm not a fan of this holster. Just this loop piece. I get how it's there to keep it in, but I can never get it to stay. It looks a little wonky when it's not in there. It looks wonky when it does clip in. But and just to show y'all, take their pistols out real quick so y'all can check those out as well. So put him right here. Put him here. Okay, so the one, so try to, there we go. So the one on the bottom, this more silver one, is the old one, and this one is the new one. See how it's got some nice sculpting, like a nice wood grip there on the grip. A lot bigger too. If you put them side by side, you can see how it's a little, maybe not a lot bigger, but it's slightly bigger. So there is some, I don't know if I put them. Yeah, it's slightly bigger for sure. So this is definitely a new sculpt. And that just looks really nice. Very nice. So give them their holsters back. Throw this in here. And with this one here, now it does go in there nice on the old one too. I'm not gonna crack it. I like this old Mandalorian. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dogging it because I can't stand it. I like this Mandalorian. It'll do. But see how I was saying that this one, these shoulder pads are glued, so it hits right here on the mold on the body. So you can't even get him into a T position. That's without forcing it too much. That's about as far as his arms can go. And that kind of limits you on your posing. And see here on the arms, that's right at 90 degrees. The new one goes below 90 degrees. The legs are about the same. Now this has the pinned, the double joint pinned knees. So you can get some really good articulation with the like way below 90 with that. But you do have that weird knee joint look. Whereas the new one is pinless. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't hate pin figures, but I'm not gonna lie and say that they don't look better without them. A figure without pins it gives it a more seamless, clean look and makes it feel more realistic. And with the single joint, like if you like going with these deeper cut, like how these elbows are, doing a deeper cut single joint, it just hides it makes the joint seem a lot less exposed. Like now that does look a little, that's still, obviously you can see joint, but if I had to choose, I would prefer pinless. It does look good, but I'm not totally against pins either. So let that be said. But look at the helmets real quick. I wanted to show this off, and you can really see how the old one on my left here is a little bit smaller, and it almost doesn't have quite as much these on the inside of the cheeks. They don't concave quite as much. They're not as indented, and I just feel like the design and the detail on the new one is just way nicer. Look at that. That paint is this paint is incredible. It's got a very nice chromy look to it. So now people were saying like, oh, this is the best figure in the Black Series, period. Now, I don't know if I would go that far and say this is the best figure in the line yet. And I have seen people say that on Facebook pages, Black Series collector pages. But I will say that this Mando, he's kind of like one of those characters, we have a bunch of Darth Vaders, we have a bunch of Luke Skywalkers, we have a bunch of Mandos. But this one is totally worth getting for your shelf just due to the upgrades that it does have. This holster, the paint, articulation, proportions, the softgoods cape, new sculpting, more accessories. Just really worth it in my opinion, dude. And I am so stoked to finally have this figure. A lot of people had it a couple months ago, but this is his. Let me throw his. And I am going to give y'all a look at the Darksaber real quick. Man, I really love this holster. That looks so nice. And it fits in very good. It's snug. It's not going anywhere. Fits like a glove, man. And so here's the Darksaber. And I really like this white against the black. It's got a nice pop to it. Now the Darksaber that came with Moff Gideon, it was the edges on the around the white. It was a little more. It wasn't really white. It was a little more of a transparent look, which I will say it gives it a little more of like a energy lightsaber vibe. But to be honest, I kind of like the way the white pops. This one looks better. The previous one looks good as well, but the hilt is actually a different sculpt. It's a little bit short. Got this nice loop on it. Matter of fact, y'all stay right here. I'm about to grab it real quick so y'all can see. So I have my previs on the flight stand. I don't want to take them off, but I'm just going to try to, there we go, pop them right out of his hand and give y'all a little look-see here. And here they are side by side. I'm try to line them up so y'all can. So here they are side by side. Here's the hilts, and you can see that the new Mando one is the new Mando hilt is longer and it has the loop. The pre-Vizsla one does not have the loop. But a nice sculpt nonetheless. So new sculpt. The white is about the same. Real nice white to it. Looks very good. Let me not get this. Okay, that's Mando's. So what I was really wanting to do, I was considering giving my Clone Wars Maul pre-Vizsla's Darksaber, but I just love the way I have pre-Vizsla on his flight stand posed. So what I think I'm going to do is get me a Moff Gideon, and I'm going to give my Maul his Darksaber. But anyways, back to this Mando figure. Just, man, what an awesome figure. Totally worth the upgrades that this figure has. Definitely by far the best Mando in the line, in my opinion. No doubt in my mind. Limited ankle articulation. This one does not have go below 90 at the knee like the old one, but the paint's better. Got some nice, cleaner, tighter details. Slightly better articulation. Soft goods cape. Oh, matter of fact, I didn't show y'all. I wanted to put on Mando's. Oh, here we go, right here. So honestly, this is probably one of the coolest things about this newer Mando, other than the paint being a lot nicer, is you can actually keep his cape on, and so you drape his cape over to the side, just like he does in the show. And it does take some messing around with, but like if you decide to get a wired cloak for this Mando, or even the old one, that would probably be the way to go, because this one is, I like the soft goods on this. This is not a bad cape. But dude, look at that. Boom. He's got his freaking cape on and his jetpack. No problem, dude. No choice needed to be made about whether to have the cape or the jetpack. And honestly, it shouldn't be a choice because, like I said earlier in the review, not one time in the show do you see him without his cape. So, there's the sculpt for, trying to get there we go. So, matter of fact, I'm going to grab, y'all give me a second, I'm going to grab the old Mandalorian jetpack. I have it somewhere over here in my accessories. And I want to show y'all how the paint and sculpt they didn't play around with the upgrades, man. Hasbro really took their time with this one. Anything that was said about the older Mando figure was fixed in this one. And you know what? Let me just stop this for a second. Little quick look, because I think I forgot to show. I did mention this whole piece is an overlay. As you can see how the shoulder pads rise too. But so all this is together. So that's kind of what I think. That's what helps the hip and leg articulation a lot, is that this is all one piece and that it's an overlay, so it allows it to move and give it a little bit of give to it. Is nice. It's got a little bit of give. Yeah, absolutely awesome, dude. Also wanted to go over articulation with the head. Way more articulation with this one because it don't have that hard cape that gets in the way. So you can get quite a good little bit of head tilt and expression. He can look up a fair amount. And he can look down quite a good bit. There's down, up, down. So some really nice articulation here in the head as well. So looking through my one of many bags of accessories that I have. All that Tusken stuff, Mace Windu robe, chopper stuff. Just a bunch of swoosh effect for Dooku. Just a bunch of random stuff. Like we all have. But looking at the old jetpack against the new one, like, look at that, dude. It's night and day comparison. Night and day comparison, man. It looks freaking amazing. Same sculpt, but... Or is it the same? Is it the same? No, this is a new sculpt. Or at least differently tooled sculpt. I'm trying to... It looks pretty much all the same with the exception of the top here. I'm trying to give y'all a good look. but in the slightly on the bottom here, it looks a little bit different. But for the most part, it's all the same. See how this dull gray is? And look at this one, dude. Like, just night and day difference, man. This is Mando. This is Beskar. This is what Beskar looks like, man. This is like, I don't want to say adamantium. Obviously, that's a different galaxy, different universe. But this is almost like Durasteel or something. This is like, this looks nothing. It just looks so much better, man. This paint is terrific. Awesome tooling. Man, I could go on and on about this figure. He just looks amazing. Head to toe, the proportions, the paint, new accessories, retooling, better articulation. Just a freaking sick figure, man. So let's go through some side-by-side comparisons so y'all can see how this scales up with some other figures. And finally, we're to my favorite part of my reviews, and we're going to be doing some side-by-side comparisons. Right here, I got the new Mando next to Quill and the child from the red and black box version of Grogu. Here's Din next to a Dark Trooper. Looking pretty badass, man. Now I got Mando next to Ahsoka. Now I got Grief Karga standing in, R.I.P. Carl Weathers. Light Cruiser, Jedi Master, Luke Skywalker. And here's Boba. Looking bad freaking ass, dude. Absolutely love this. And now I got the deluxe Black Chrysanthemum standing next to Glavis Ringworld Mando. Pairs pretty nicely. And finally, here's Mando next to R5D4. And I wish I had Bo-Katan or Fennec Shand, but you know, I got a pretty good select. There's so many Mandalorian figures in the Black Series line. It's pretty crazy. But that was pretty good little side by side. It was fun, man. That was cool. All right, y'all. So those are my final thoughts on this new Glavis Ringworld Mando. And like I said, I sound like a broken record. Totally worth the upgrades. Totally worth having your whatever Mando this is. Got the Maldo Crease one, the Arvala 7, the original Mando, the 3-pack Mando that come with the Beskar Spear with Ahsoka and Grogu. I think this is like the 5th or 6th version of Mando we've gotten in his Beskar armor. I do believe there's the one version of Din in the hover tank pilot costume on Morak. But so like 5 or 6, 7 Mandos, and this one tops them all, dude. Absolutely awesome. As you can see, I got the jetpack and on with the cape, soft goods, some slightly decent, better articulation, better shoulder mobility due to the new shoulder pads, updated retooled armor, legs, arms, and brand new sculpted helmet, new paint, new accessories. Wish the vibro knife was a little bit bigger so we could actually wield it. That would be badass. Or maybe even if you kept it the same size to keep it accurate to the show, give us some alternate hands, like a different gripping hand where he can actually hold the knife. Would be pretty cool. You know, I would have been pretty stoked to see that. But I absolutely love this figure, dude. I am so stoked to finally have it on the shelf. It's a marvelous looking figure, and just man, just can't say anything else more good about it. Absolutely love it, dude. Been wanting this since I saw it pipelined. I knew the moment that I found out that it was gonna have a soft goods cape, I was like, yep, that's the version I want. I don't care if it's the same exact thing. I wouldn't have cared if it was the old Mando. I was gonna buy it anyways, just because they had the updated blue armor, the dark saber, and the soft goods cape. And honestly, from the time I saw it, I knew the helmet was gonna be. It just looked better. When we first seen this, I just knew it was going to be an awesome figure, man, from the get. But if you enjoyed my review, I hope you did. Leave me a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I was really looking forward to doing this review. I got this figure this past Friday, along with many others, it seems. So super stoked to finally have this figure. I am extremely happy, extremely impressed and pleased as well. And just, you got to get it, man.